let me address that, and this is not, my plan tonight is not to have, ma'am, if you would let me finish speaking, I can address your point. The plan is not to have a motion by this body tonight. There has been a lot of discussion on social media about this particular project, and I want to make sure that the board hears all the comments, because not everybody on the board is on social media, not everybody reads the threads, and it's been a very contentious issue. So this meeting is really more to allow you guys to tell us what you think about this project, to ask specific questions for us to ask the developer for answers, with another meeting planned to be called in August with the developer, somebody from Mike Bonan's office, and somebody from LASA, which is the homeless.
Is the developer here tonight?
The developer is here tonight.
Where?
Right there.
You're not seeing that on the website.
Well, I'm going to, actually, ma'am, I'm going to ask you to please wait so I can finish getting through the way this needs to be heard. So we have a lot of people here tonight, we have a lot of people who wish to speak. We're going to do 1 minute comment per piece as a first go around. Then all of the board members will have 2 minutes apiece to either ask questions, make statements, and you can do the same in your 1 minute. You can ask questions, make statements, tell us what you think. Then, at that point, we'll open it up to additional discussion. If you'd like to come up and speak again, we're going to allow that to happen. But I want to make very clear that there are a lot of very strong feelings about this project on both sides. So I will ask that everybody please be respectful of other people and their opinions, and not to name call, not be belligerent. Please keep things civil. If you can't help but calling somebody a name, please go outside, call them a name, and come back in, because it's not fruitful to the discussion. Everybody's got a lot of unanswered questions, including the board. We didn't know very much about this before the presentation happened in May. I see some familiar faces, so I know some of you were here in May when that happened. That meeting, ma'am, to your point, was noticed in 4 days before the meeting, and this item was on there. I can assure you that not this many people showed up to that meeting. So these are actually noticed meetings, but this meeting is really so that the developer who's here can hear all of your concerns. Hopefully, they take those concerns back to the drawing board, because as I understand it, the plans haven't been finalized yet, and incorporate some of the concerns that people have. If we have time at the end of the meeting, and Zell is going to make us leave here by 9 o'clock, so we got to be done at 9. If we have time by the end of the meeting, the developer will be able to answer some direct questions. My further understanding is that he has an abundance of business cards with him, and will be accepting emails from you all. So that's how I'd like to get things started. I've got a stack of comment cards here. I'm going to call 4 people at a time, and I'd like you to queue in the middle, and then I'll time you for a minute. So when I cut you off, I'm not trying to be rude, but we do have a lot of people to move through, and I want to make sure everybody gets through. Are there any questions about the process?
Any presentation by the developer?
There is no presentation at this time. There was a presentation at the May meeting that was scheduled to last 20 minutes. It lasted approximately 45 minutes. And there were no plans finalized, and there was no action taken at the May meeting. And this has sparked so much further discussion on social media that I think that we all need to figure out what our questions are for the developer, so that the next presentation can be more focused, and we can either say yes or no as a council.
What social media are you referring to?
There was a long discussion on Nextdoor.
Besides that, what else?
That's it. That's all I've seen.
It's the only thing that doesn't exist.
That's all I've seen. There may have been other ones, but I saw a thread of 70-something comments.
Over 137.
Oh, 130, okay.
It's 130 comments, so it's kind of a big one.
Okay, so without further ado,
Could I just ask that people silence their cell phones?
the request. Okay, so the first 4 names are Karen Leonard, Mary Shelton, Katie Eckhorn, and Allison Reglis. If you 4 would queue in the middle. And if anybody else has speaker cards, just feel free to bring them up. Okay, Karen.
Well, I come from the League of Women Voters, the homeless committee, and it's generally agreed that permanent supportive housing is the best solution for the growing homeless population in LA. And developers really come forward and work hard with the neighborhood, design a good-looking building. Permanent supportive housing is long-term, and it provides flexible supportive services on site. The people are trained for money management and job training, medical, dental, mental health, There are people, staff on site to take care of this. They get substance abuse treatment if they need it. There are support groups of counseling, education programs, job placement counseling, and these have been very successful. People working on this problem, the general consensus is that this saves taxpayer money. People do stay long-term. They settle down. And
Thank you,
they
Karen.
make good neighbors.
Thank you. I apologize. Thank you. It is kind of difficult here, so yes, I will request either stand over there or try and turn around in a circle. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
I'm not here speaking for or against it, it's just that I've read all these things on the next door. I have a tendency not to join in to those kind of things because there's been so many rude things said on there and attacking people. And I mean, even people that I recognize who people are, some people NIMBY each other. And the way I see it, I see both sides of this. If I were a homeowner and saw the property value that I worked so hard to build up possibly go down because this is next door, I'd be very sympathetic to you. If I had children living next to that, I'd be very sympathetic to you. I also understand we need to do something. But I think our elected officials have really dropped the ball on this. And what I see is this supportive housing, and I've seen it in other areas. Go to Hollywood, it's a wasteland. What they've done there, the more they give the homeless and the more they do, the worse it's gotten. It's probably the best example. It's almost as bad as Skid Row. I don't want to see West LA become that. So my concern is that we get this together and ask Bonin and Garcia and Pure to look back at the law that they keep quoting. They aren't enforcing the laws.
Thank you. Katie.
Hi everyone, my name is Katie Eichhorn. I live in this area, West LA, over near Federal. And I'm a scientist, I work at UCLA. So I like to look at facts and data. There's been several studies in other cities where they've implemented using permanent supportive housing to reduce homelessness. And there's ample evidence that shows that actually permanent supportive housing does not reduce property rates and it does not increase crime. And it actually has positive social benefits, and I think the voters in LA voted twice on reducing homelessness in the city, and I think that West LA should be part of the solution to reducing homelessness. That's all.
Thank you. Okay, Allison does not want to speak, but she's against the project. The next four are Olivia, Blake, and Diane, and Lori.
Hi, my name is Olivia Johnson. I'm here with Blake and the TSA or Trauma Staffing team. I represent Dana Sales and the 360 team. We're land use consultants. We work throughout the city of LA. We're working with the TSA team on other projects in the city. We just want to say that this project is very much still in the plan development stage. Several things are still being worked out, and Blake can speak to more details of it. However, if you would like to provide input, we're more than welcome to hear what you have to say. We just want to reiterate that we're open to communication and want to work with this community to create the best project that can possibly get through. So, thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. Okay, Blake?
Hi, good evening, folks. My name is Blake Hoddington. I'm with the developer, Thomas Stafford and Associates. I'm glad we're having this meeting tonight. I agree with you, ma'am. This was put together last minute, but it's nice to get everyone in the room. I'm very anxious to hear your questions, hear and listen to your concerns, and hopefully come back to you in the next month, like Jamie said, with a plan in place. I do want to clarify one misconception. Our plan for this site is affordable housing. It's affordability in Los Angeles. And we're proposing only a percentage of permanent supportive units. And I encourage you, unannounced, to to visit any of our properties, and you will find that they are impeccably designed, well-maintained, and it's important to us that you understand that, and we can arrange a tour if that's of interest to anyone. I really encourage you. We would not build a building that we would not house our own family in. I would live in the buildings that we build in. I would put my mother in there.
Thank you,
Please
Blake.
understand.
Diane?
Hi, my name is Diane. I live in the community. I have 3 kids that go to New West Charter School. They walk to school. They're going to be going by this project, and I'm very concerned about it. Just concerned about who's going to be there, what time they're going to be there, if there's going to be security at this building or not, or if there's just going to be, like any other apartment building or housing complex going to housing. I want to know whether or not the tenants have to work, have a job. I want to know how they're going to be brought into society or the community that they're living in, because this is the community that I think is very strong. And I believe that if they're going to be living there, they need to be part of the community, not just living in a house or an apartment in the community. They need to become brought in to be part of the community. I'd like to know the ages of these people, if they are, you said there's just a small percentage of them that are actually going to be coming out of foster care or other different situations, so I'm just concerned about that. Where I work in Culver City, there
Thank you,
is...
Diane. Lori?
Good evening, my name is Lori Kwan. I am a neighbor, I'm also a New West parent, and I'm also a member of the New West Governance Board. But I'm here tonight as a concerned neighbor and as a concerned parent. I do have children that walk to school. I'm fearful of their safety. I was, when they presented to the board, it was for homelessness. I'm concerned that these individuals could have mental illness or be recovering addicts. I just don't feel like this is appropriate to be so close to the school where there's lots of children that go back and forth. In addition to that, the safety aspect, I'm concerned about the congestion. We have the Martin development that's going to be coming up, and already there's a lot of traffic, there's congestion, that's an issue. I would personally like to see it as some kind of community center that could be shared by the neighborhood and also by the various schools that are in the neighborhood. So something like that, we could use more greenery instead from stone parks. So,
Thank you very much. Okay, the next 4 in order are Ron Olson, Linda, Galen, and Susan. Ron?
Oh, first, I'm sorry.
You're the first one.
Sorry.
That's all right. Ron, Linda, Galen, and Susan.
All right, my name's Ron. My house is 3 houses from the corner of the intersection of where the site is proposed. Now, I understand that we all need, the homeless need to be housed. We don't know that. It's not that you hold, that we house them, it's where you house them. And this kind of a project is not appropriate for an R1 neighborhood. I don't want this 3 doors down from my house. I have suggested in the past that if the city wants to do something with that site, they make that a substation for LAPD traffic. Okay, for the motorcycle cops there. If there's one thing we do that we need in this area is traffic control. Bundy Drive, we all know what that is. Missouri and Bundy, Missouri and Brockton are very, very congested intersections. If you're going to do something constructive for the neighborhood, please put police officers there. Don't put something there that the neighborhood doesn't want. Okay? It's really not hard to do that. You have to find an appropriate place for everything. Because a lot of people in our neighborhood don't think it's appropriate to put such a site there.
Thank you, Ron. Linda? Linda? No? Okay, Linda is against this item. Galen?
My name is Gaylord, I'm also a neighbor. I agree, I echo what Ron says, that there's no one here that thinks that what was mentioned as the benefits of this housing is not needed, not something that should be going into this city. What we disagree with is that being across the street from someone's home, that they owe probably the rest of their life paychecks to, and are stuck there. You know, I bought a house and raising my daughter there. I can't just pick up and move if this doesn't work out. I'm not concerned with property value, I'm concerned with livability. Also, that site is not currently zoned for any housing. There's not supposed to be any residences on that site at all. It's an M2 zone site. And also the proximity to the school. I don't know if that's allowable either. There are other options. This could be on Olympic. LADWP has a whole lot. They're just basically using it as a secondary access point. There's another one on Sawtelle. There's a city yard on Cotner, Missouri that is also just seems to be used for parking trucks. There are other options that do not build a room like this for people that are concerned and against it. Also, I would just like to say I'm a little upset that there does seem to be so much secrecy. You know, one of the speakers just said that they came and spoke at the school and it was about homeless, and now we still don't know what it's going to be. You know, there just seems to be so much of this TBD, but then you sort of hear that it has been discussed and is very much underway.
Thank you, Gail. Susan?
Hello, my name is Susan, and this project is completely all wrong. The asking is too large. You need wider sidewalks on Grundy and Missouri, and also the use, especially the supportive housing. These people have not proven that they can stay off drugs or whatever it is they're on, and you have all these New West kids passing right by, and one of them, something happens to even one of them, we are in big trouble, big trouble. And that's really problematic for me. I don't want to see our neighborhood all messed up just because one guy messes up. So that's all I have to say.
Kathy just wants it to be known that she is against this project. So the next four in line are Geraldine, Jeff, Jill, and Michael. Geraldine? Okay. Four against. You're fourth, okay.
I'm her husband, can I have her time?
Sure, yeah, what's your name?
Jeff.
You're Jeff, okay, so Jeff gets her time too. Let me start the timer at 2 minutes.
Besides being her husband, I'm a property owner right around the corner from this project. And I have children who are all grown now. And my mother managed this Felicia neighborhood for many, many years until she passed away. She's the one who taught me compassion, caring about other people. If we are not for other people, who are we? What are we? And that's what's inspired me my whole life to do what I do, representing farm workers, representing workers, representing refugees. And now I have to speak for the homeless because they're not here. And so I say, who are we if we do not make room for the homeless in our community? These are human beings. Who are we if we cannot reach out our hands to our brothers and sisters? Who are we? I would rather have these homeless, mentally ill, the drug addicts, I'd rather have them, the neighbors, than someone who does not care, who is afraid and violent.
Thank you very much. Jill? Jill.
Hello everyone, my name is Jill Bauman and I run a nonprofit called Imagine LA, where we imagine that no family, no child sleeps on the street. We have a program where we work with formerly homeless families and everyone in that family gets a mentor. And we go week in, week out, and every single family has stayed housed. The kids are doing well in school. The parents' income goes up between 70 and 100%. And they get integrated into the communities that they live in. The developer for this project who was chosen by the city as one of the best developers, reached out to us. We have numerous of our families in their projects around the city, reached out to us to say, could we do a family project in this neighborhood with this? And I said I would be happy, and I imagine LA would be happy to be there. We've never had any incidents of safety or anything like that. People, compassionate people like you all could be involved.
Thank you. Michael? Hi.
Hello, I'm Michael. I live by Stoner Park with my wife. You know, we all feel compassion. And we all feel compassion for the homeless in particular, and the problem we see in our city. But I also feel compassion for myself and my family and my neighbors. And I've seen this neighborhood change dramatically over the last 40 years. And there never seems to be a line drawn in regards to less intensive use of property. The city wishes to make more intensive housing in this location, more duplexes, quadplexes, apartment buildings going up. The traffic patterns are dreadful. It took me a half an hour to get from Nebraska and Westgate to get up here this evening. The policing is, with all due respect, less than terrific. You don't walk through Stoner Park at night. We have the kids with the skateboards, so I'm very happy they're using the park for skateboards. But they'll also enjoy skateboarding down the middle of the street at 11 o'clock at night. We have noise in our neighborhood starting about 5:30 or 6 in the morning from the trash trucks and sanitation people. And as far as I'm concerned, the neighborhood has lost its feel of being a neighborhood. And it's because of the continuing provision of new and different extensive uses, including adding new schools.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, we have 3 more cards. Sam, Rebecca, and Sylvie.
Hi, my name is Sam Nichols, and I live in the area right by the proposed project. And my biggest concern right now is the transparency of the land deal that seems to be going on. The gentleman here has talked about compassion for the homeless, and I agree 100% that we need to be compassionate to those people. But make no bones about this. This is a business. You guys aren't in it for the business to help homeless people. We're in it to make money. So what I would like to know is, have there been any contracts signed with the city? I've heard a rumor that there's already a 99-year land deal that's been agreed to. So, you know, these are rumors that I'm hearing, so I'm telling you because it's out there. And then to clarify the vetting process, I think some of the uncertainty that people have is, how do these people get selected to come into the housing? And if we knew more about what the vetting process is, what they have to do to get there, that I think more people would be maybe comfortable or feel better about it. Right now, there's all these secret deals going on. So.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
I have Rebecca next.
Yes, hi, my name is Sylvie Narachi. So I would like to have also some transparency on the procedure and who's paying for what, the value of the land, the value of the construction. It's city land that is given to the developer, and then who's paying for the development, who owns what, for how long, how are we going to make sure that maybe in 5, 6, 7 years it's still the same type of housing, because I understand that the owner is going to be the developer, or maybe, I don't know, so either that is it like co-ownership with the city. It's a big value for the land for where it is. So how much are we giving to the developer basically, and how much are we getting back?
Great, thank you. Okay, now, Rebecca,
21 million?
well, ma'am, we actually have a queue, and we're finishing up the queue. If you'd like to get on the queue, I'm happy to put you in after Ms. Jeanette speaks. Rebecca?
Hi, my name is Rebecca Hines, and I just want to speak generally about this project. I straddle a few worlds. I serve on the sort of landmarks commission for another city, and I also work for an agency that provides social services to the community out of this building and older adults. And I just want to generally make people aware of what I've seen going on, the number one concern we have from older adults in your neighborhood, in your area, is that they're getting displaced from their housing. There's a lot of redevelopment going on, and people who are on fixed incomes living in a lot of the multifamily rental units that are around here, and so many of them are wanting to apply for affordable housing. I'm familiar with Thomas Saffron and Associates and the projects sort of the Primo. They're beautiful, they're architecturally beautiful, the landscaping is beautiful, and they try and sort of make it as sort of nice for the community as possible, and I think they do a fantastic job. So I would urge you who are considering this project to take a look at a tour.
Okay, Jeanette?
I'm Jeanette Dixon. I've lived in this neighborhood since 1965. My dad's owned the same house for over 50 years. And in the last 3 years, we've had so much crime. We don't need any additional problems to come into the neighborhood and create more crime. We've had so many burglaries, so many car break-ins and package thefts. We can't seem to stop it. We have homeless people walking up and down our streets now. There's a homeless village behind Smart and Final. So, I mean, we don't need more. I mean, I feel sorry for the homeless. We just need to put them somewhere else. Don't put them on this expensive piece of property. And I heard that there's other developments coming in right next to it. Just sell it to them. We don't want this property at all. So put it somewhere else, okay? And I know that you brought the U.S. school. You bought them a library. Right? Did you pay for the library?
Well,
I can touch on that.
yeah, we'll get,
In my turn.
yeah, we'll get him to address, I'm writing down this question.
To me, that's a bribe, okay? And I also want to know if you're bribing Mark Bowman too. Because, this is the way you're getting these projects, then this is bad. You went into Playa Vista, you went into Marina Del Rey. These people paid millions for their homes. We don't want them here. We've got properties that are $3 million, 1 block away. And I spoke to that homeowner, and I spoke to the other one. That man, one man just moved into that house in April and got burglarized a month later. And that's what's happening in our neighborhood. There's just too many. Well, there's just too much crap. I don't want any more.
The next four are Pat, John Burns, Mary Burns, and Catherine England. So, Pat?
Hi, good evening. I'm Pat LaCrosse, one of the owners of the property where the New West Charter School is housed. New West has approximately 700 students there. I understand the need for homelessness, shelter, and housing. I just don't think that this is the appropriate place for it. This is the hottest real estate market probably in the country right now. It's at Santa Monica, LA border. I don't know how you can afford to buy that type of land. The prices that the economy is affording right now. And number two, I don't know how you can put those type of homelessness in there with affordable housing and make it support. So I'd like to understand, has the property been sold? Has it been sold to you? Is the city subsidizing what you're doing? How is this becoming an affordable option for you? But again, going back to the school, I think we need to look at our kids. This is a wonderful place for young children, and I just don't think this is the appropriate development to be best for them.
Thank you. John?
I'm John Burns, and I work in the City of New West Charter School, which, as Pat just said, is 700 children right there. This is an important step that we're going through right now. Dialogue is good, but there are decisions that seem to be being made that there's just not enough visibility about them. And in light of what that property could be worth, etc., there could be some great things happening that would benefit the whole community and ensure we've got the resources in order to keep this a safe community environment. That's what I'm after.
Thank you.
Mary? I'm a former school teacher
with the children. I am in this area all the time, and the homelessness is really pervasive, and it's frightening. They are not tamed. They come right up to you, and for a child, as a parent, it is so difficult to teach your child compassion, and yet tell them they have to be safe and they can't interact. So I just agree with the people that are talking about not making this affordable housing homeless area. It is not the right place this close to a school. That's my biggest concern. Thank you.
Catherine?
Hello, my name is Catherine Newman. I'm a clinical social worker. I've been doing social work for the past 35 years, and my training started at Ocean Park Community Center, which has a specialized program for people who are homeless. Having said that, when I was a social worker at Santa Monica Hospital, one of my best friends, a schoolmate of mine from the School of Social Work, was murdered by a homeless patient of hers. Here's the problem with having a homeless center in the middle of a residential area. And I know that here on this flyer, it just kind of briefly mentions that there's family residences around. But it's primarily, the neighborhood is primarily residential. And here's the issue. People who are homeless, I have great compassion. I became a social worker because of that. I couldn't be a nun because I like the boys, but I could become a social worker. So it's not that I don't have compassion, okay? Here's the problem. They consistently lack life skills. Okay? Some people are homeless for a period of time, and because they have good life skills, they have relationships, they have people that they can rely on, and they're set up for a period of time.
Thank you, Catherine.
The issue is there's impulsive problems, there's relationship problems, there's general life skill problems, but more than that, you cannot legally mandate someone to take medication.
Catherine,
So we have psych.
Well, she's had a minute and a half, and I'm going to give everybody a second turn, but I'm trying to be
If I
fair.
had a clock in front of me,
Thank you.
this is the most important piece.
Thank you.
I can't regulate medication.
Thank
in
you
the
very much.
psychosis.
Ron, actually, everybody who's not chairing the meeting is out of order. I would encourage you to put in a second comment card. We are going to have a second round. I don't want to cut anybody off, but I would like to.
Just if you could do something like, say you have 30 seconds.
Fair enough.
And that'd be super.
Thank you. Okay, the last card I have is Josie Castro. So if anybody out there has not had a turn to speak and you would like to speak, either give me a card or I'll call for hands at the end of Josie's speech.
Hello. I'm a property owner in the area. I also have a 12-year-old son who goes to New West. And this is my son's message. He said to me this morning, he knew that I'm coming to this meeting, and he said, Mom, can you let them know I have all the heart for the homeless, but it scares me because we have been accosted by homeless people. And my son kind of got traumatized by that. And so this concern that now, having so close to where we live, it's now creating this kind of, anxiety for my son. So I just want to let you know that.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the audience who would like to speak before I turn to the board and let them have 2 minutes apiece to speak? Sir.
I'm a neighbor, and I have a young kid, and it's just, it's worrisome having people walk around the street screaming and just kind of attacking my kid and attacking me when I want to get a video at the 7-Eleven. I think that area is not the proper area to have that type of building. And I think like a nice community park or something that can have the kids to play would be a good idea. I just don't think it's a good area for affordable housing and homeless and people in need. I feel bad for them. I understand they need a place to live, but I don't think it should be there.
Where?
Thank you, sir.
Where? Somewhere else.
Wait,
Not here. Somewhere else.
Excuse me, everybody is out of order at the moment. So we are going to keep this discussion civil. It's a heated discussion. I understand that people are passionate on both sides of this. I think we've all seen that. But if we cannot civilly discuss it, we are not going to change anything. So, on either side. So I need everybody to please remain civil and not address one another until it's after the meeting or on a break. Sir, you have the floor.
All right, my name is James. I live right down the street from this location. I'm not sure what kind of place this will be. It's going to be like a traditional homeless shelter, maybe just housing people. It's still kind of unclear to me. But when I was in high school about 5 years ago, I volunteered about 2 years at this homeless shelter in Santa Monica, and I was sucker punched one day as I was leaving the location. So, like, little kids walking by, who knows what's going to happen with people who have psychiatric problems? I just don't know.
Thank you.
Is there going to be an opportunity to ask a question?
Yes. So this is let me give you guys an overview again. We're going to go through the board this way. I'm not going to go in any particular order. Any board member who wants to speak will have up to 2 minutes. Then we will take questions from the audience. And you can ask whether those questions want to go to the developer for a response, or if you just want to ask them to the board. However, you just need to tell me who you're addressing your question to, basically. If we have the answers, we'll give them to you. If not, we'll try and find out. That's sort of our job. So is there anybody else in the audience who would like to make a public comment on this project before I turn to the board? Yes.
I'm involved on the board of the West. I've been involved in the West longer than anybody, including the president. There was never any deal with Tom Saffron. We built our library years ago when this property wasn't even in play. It was controlled by Bill Rosendahl. It was kind of traded for the property. There was no bribe. There was nothing like that. And I just have no idea where this bit of information came from, that we were paid off by Tom Saffron.
What year did they build the library?
It was about 4.
My dad's been fighting this project for over 10 years, almost since they announced it.
Okay, again, we're devolving into conversation that could happen outside of this. So, are you done with your comments, sir?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then I am going to start at this end. If you have something to say, please say it. You have 2 minutes.
I remember when this property was an animal shelter, and I, found several animals in the neighborhood who I took there, and I remember showing up one day to a lost dog and being very bummed it had closed, but not being surprised because they were struggling. And my comment is that I'm kind of very surprised at what seems to be a lack of information around the project. And I think that is a place where we can find common ground and work to, because I think everyone would support transparency. And also, I think the conversation, I'm wondering, what population are we talking about? Because a lot of, I live in the neighborhood too, and especially on Ohio, under the overpass where a lot of homeless camp out, or I run in the neighborhood, and I have had mentally homeless people, who seem menacing, but I think that's a different issue from affordable housing. For example, kids who are aging out of foster care, or families who might benefit from going to the West. I mean, I remember when the West was coming in, all the opposition to that, and now unanimously the comments seem to be that the West is a great place. I'm not of either, I can see both sides of the issue, but where I would like to lend my voice is in support of the issue of transparency, which a lot of people have raised. The populations that would be served by projects like this are deserving. They're not untamed. They're not animals. They're people just like us. However, I have a 7-year-old, and I have 2 nephews who come to visit every summer. They're coming on Thursday, who I'd love to be able to bike around the neighborhood. My question for the developer would be, is there a place where people can go to have their questions answered definitively? Because I think their questions are valid and they deserve answers.
So I think it's important to not base these decisions on emotions. Let's base ourselves on fact, get the information from the developer that we want. This is still very early, we can't jump to conclusions. Perhaps there can be a win-win solution for all of us. Perhaps they can donate some to New West and create a wall, a barrier, or greenery, landscaping to block the views. Perhaps we can insist that the people who come and live in this affordable home is our families that come from the neighborhood who are being displaced or are experiencing homelessness. We can all work together to find a situation where we can all be happy with it. It's not winners and losers here. We have to all think about every aspect of it. In terms of the traffic, these are people who have no access to a car, who will not be using the roads like you and I do. They will be using the public transportation system. Metro line is just right up the street, so I don't think that's the situation in this particular development. I'll have the developer give us more information on that, compared to a different development which would use more street traffic, parking, curb cuts. So I think there's a lot that we can all gain from giving this a chance, and we can all negotiate a viable solution.
Thank you. Rosie?
I've taken a look at the website for Thomas Safford and Associates, and I have to agree that the projects that you have produced are really top of the line. There's nothing wrong about that. There were some issues that came up, I think, the last time that you came. Okay. There were some issues when you came the last time to present, because I believe you said you're building 90 units, and it's going to be 5 stories tall. So I had issues with those items as far as this project. The other thing is that I think you were talking about building a community room, because basically each of the properties that you have are closed communities. You have like a library, you would have like laundry room, you have a community room, you have different separate social areas where the tenants can congregate and rest. So it ends up being a closed off community, rather than having, I think one of the residents mentioned that she wanted the people who live there to go out and to assimilate into the community. So the projects that you do actually don't do that, don't promote that. So I have an issue with that. And as far as those, like the library and community room, if you took those out of that structure, I think you can reduce the size of the project as far as the height, that kind of thing. The other issue not to add is who's going to be going into, who's going to be moving in. So I know that your projects, you have Section 8, you have housing, Section 8, you have tax credit, and also you have affordable, and you did one also for the beds and too. So I wanted to find out what are going to be the parameters for who's going to be moving into those units. And because I think there's some, I was given some information that possibly 50% of that has to be homeless, maybe mentally ill, or 15 seconds. But I just want to find out who's really moving in, basically.
Thank you. Jean?
Well, I've been living in this community for 40 years. But I had a business and I raised my children here, and I've seen the neighborhood change. I don't think that at this point that we are ready for this type of project yet. Now, that's not to say it will never happen, but I don't think that we're at that point yet. I think there has to be much more vetting as to what the project is actually going to do, a lot more thoughtfulness, mindfulness about how it's going to affect the community, because it will drastically affect this community in long-lasting conditions.
think we should just take our time with this much more thoroughly.
Okay. I will say that I echo the sentiments about transparency that we heard from stakeholders who came tonight and other board members. I am also curious about what the potential population looks like. There are lots of families that are in our community that are like literally on the edge of homelessness. So being able to keep somebody in our neighborhood that would otherwise not be able to be here is important. And I think having a place like that that allows our community to remain a community is important. That's a very different thing than displacing somebody from a different community and bringing them here to fill beds. And frankly, I just don't know what is being proposed really. And so that's, that's a problem. And I think that we are a generous community and we can open ourselves up to accepting people into the community, but we just haven't been told anything. We haven't been told anything by the city. We haven't been told very much, not to, talk badly about Blake who's here tonight, but they came to our meeting in May and we didn't really know anything about the project. And we still don't know very much about the project. And so I think that we need to really understand, we need some numbers. How long do people typically stay in their projects? Rosie's done a lot of research about these sort of insular communities that are the other projects, but how long are people there? Are these transient? Are people there 6 months, 3 months, a year? Or are people typically there 5 years or 10 years? Or we just don't know what that looks like. So I would like to see a lot more information coming out of that. I also agree with finding out about how the deal went down. What is the land lease? Who owns everything? We don't know any of that stuff. And so I think that we need just more information. And now I'm done. Jay.
Okay, I'll just stand up so people can hear me. I told most of you I work in affordable housing. I do the exact same thing that Mr. Safran's company does. They're excellent. The city could not have picked a better developer. I'll go through some things that I know about affordable housing, and if I'm wrong, they can correct me later on. But essentially, everyone who moves in has to go through a criminal and credit check. As you know, there's state laws that prevent sexual predators from being within a certain radius of sensitive uses. If you look at the Megan's Law website, we have about 6 people in our neighborhood council district who are within our borders, if you didn't know that. When people qualify for this, they have to have income. Essentially, everyone has to work. That's the difference between this and like Section 8 housing where you just get a voucher and that's what the stereotype is. These are lazy, welfare, whatever. This is theoretically different because they have to pay some rent. Some of them might have their own voucher, but most of them are just very poor people who don't make a lot of money. And they usually live there a while because it is permanent housing, and unfortunately in our society today, people are permanently poor. This is mainly just for low-income families. The special needs portion is a little different, but in general, this isn't project Section 8 housing. They're just very poor people who have very low-income jobs and need the help. When deals like this come together, I'll estimate a project like this costs about $40 million based on projects that I've built. They're probably going to get $10 million in free grant money from the city of LA, which is your sales tax. They're probably going to get another $10 million from the state of California through different programs. There are many affordable housing programs. It is required to be affordable for 55 years. They are required to own it for at least 15 years. They can sell it to another affordable group, but it's an LP and people can come in and out. My company, we usually hold our projects indefinitely because they're run well, they make cash, and they're a good investment. For their profit, in general, affordable housing developments is about a 10% profit generally over the 55-year-old term. And also the state of California and the city of LA caps how much profit they can make, so it's not a cash cow. And the last thing, the land is probably worth about $10 million. So if they did not get free land from the city of Los Angeles, they would have to go out and try to buy land and spend $10 million. And that's an extra 50 affordable housing units that would not be built.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for coming, everybody. I'm a board member, so I'm supposed to see both sides of this at least, or try to. I think well, I'm glad you came, but I'm also glad that we're able to have some questions answered. That's pretty obvious. But what I'm hoping to hear is, how are you gonna make everybody feel good? You know, that's kind of like, you know, feel better or understand it better. And I mean, that's why everyone came, because they're a little bit worried, right? Not everyone, but maybe 2/3 of the room are worried. And I'm just wondering, you know, what can you do to make that better? You know, to answer those questions and to really give everybody a good idea of what's going to happen here. We could read this paper, but you know, the security are just security cameras. I mean, maybe that's not enough. You know, there's a lot of worries about security, right? That's the main thing. So maybe there needs to be more. You know, I'm unsure, but we need to hear more and understand more. So I'll move on, but that's all I want to say.
Thank you. Armand?
Yeah, I want to echo the sentiment of needing to know more, the transparency, how much are we giving, like those kind of numbers, I think is an important breakdown. This one is a really, really hard one for me. I mean, I've never been more anxious about anything on the council before because I'm hearing all of your concerns, which are valid because this is your home, these are your children, and who's going to be moving in next to them, and that's a scary thought. But I think there's also a lot of misconception about like mental health and you know, who's actually using affordable housing. And if we can get more percentage about what's affordable housing for people like me. I was, after I graduated, I only had a part-time job, even coming from UCLA. I fell in that affordable housing bracket for a short amount of time so I could get a full-time job. So is it, you know, affordable housing, I don't think that's probably what you guys aren't as scared about. You're more scared about the supportive housing. And what's the vetting process for that? And I think we really need to know more about that as well, because a lot of them, like Jamie mentioned, are families, are veterans from the VA, and it seems like a good location, but I'm really interested, by a good location close to the metro for them, but concerned for the neighbors around. But I really want to know more about those other locations. Are they city-owned? And what about the neighbors in there? Because if we keep moving the project, it seems like everyone's going to have an issue. People are talking about homeless on the streets behind Smart and Final, out here even, and well, we can't solve those issues if we don't find them housing. They're already in our neighborhoods. Wouldn't it be better to get them off the street so we can take back the Civic Center? Right now we put a fencing around it trying to take back this area so we can have more community spaces. So, you know, people talk about turning it into a community space. Well, we have ones that are being overtaken by homeless. So we do have the issue here. We have to solve it. Is this the best solution? I don't know. So I think we just need to hear more and just talk more and try to work it out so we can come up with a win-win. Because I think this could be potentially a housing like this in our community could be something that we could be proud of as a community rather than something that we should fear. But we really need to work together.
Thank you. Ron?
Yeah, I'm in favor of this project, and I'll tell you why. And I live relatively close to it. I think we all want to be safe. We want our kids to be safe. We want our neighborhoods to be great. I think everybody wants the same thing as far as that goes. And I think most of us, in our heart of hearts, would like to see the homeless people helped up from their station in life. That's why I'm supporting this. The people that you encounter that seem threatening to you are the whole reason that we need this project. This is not for violent criminals. This is not for sex offenders. This is for people this is permanent low-income housing. You put people in projects like this, and they end up policing their own. It takes so much pride in, I'm going to call it ownership, even though they're renters, you might not call it ownership. They have so much pride in ownership, they police their own. They make their communities great. They're so grateful for this opportunity. And I think if you look statistically at the other projects that have been built, if you visit them, if you look at what's actually going to help solve the homeless problem, this is it. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is what we have to do if we want to improve our community.
Thank you, Rob. Naomi?
Yes, hi. I'm still reserving judgment and just kind of thoughts about this until I get more information. You know, and I think I'm echoing what a lot of people are saying, that we do need more information. The difference between supportive housing is from permanent supportive housing and affordable housing, and about really understanding the differences, and the vetting process is important. Safety is absolutely a concern. I live right on Colby. My 85-year-old mother lives a few blocks away from the project, and she does a lot of walking, so I am absolutely interested in details, and I need to know more. And so I also want to say, for those who want to know more about last month, the minutes about what the developer, their initial thoughts on are in the minutes, and they're on the website. And our job as a neighborhood council is to listen to your concerns. We are an advisory body, as much as we can be, but I think the more as I'm learning, we do need more representatives from the city. We need the representatives from LASA. We need those who are making the decisions. We need them together with the developers so we all hear what's being proposed. I still feel that we need just what everyone's saying. We need more information.
Okay, so now I propose, oh, yes.
Is it possible to make a quick comment? I don't know the comment.
Yeah, actually, so we're going to get back to second round comments since you already had a comment. I'd like to first put a few questions forward to the developer. And maybe we can get how about a 2-minute response to what the demographic looks like that's planned to be going into this project.
Sure. When I came before this council in May, I'm going to take this 2 minutes. I'm going to first address the issue of transparency. I think there's a lot of concerns.
I think that'll be a separate question.
A separate question?
Yeah.
Let's roll in. Okay.
Go ahead then. I'll give you 3 minutes. Transparency and
transparency. We're in the early stages of this project. We submitted an RFP to the city in September of 2016. We were selected as the developer in November, and then in December of 2016, City Council approved an exclusive negotiating agreement with Thomas Safran and Associates. That exclusive negotiating agreement gives us 2 years to go out into the community, to meet with you, to listen to your concerns, to formulate a plan, to try to reach an agreement on a win-win proposal, and then go back to the city housing department and negotiate the terms of a development and disposition agreement. Okay? So that's where we are today. This is the start of that outreach. My presentation in May was simply to say, this is what we proposed in our request for proposal. Here are some pictures of projects that Thomas Safran and Associates has successfully completed on the west side and throughout the city, and I'd like to hear some of your concerns. Okay? I apologize for not giving more notice. I hear each of you, and I assure you and I promise you that the next community meeting that we have, you will be given sufficient notice, at least 2 weeks. Okay? And I will send all of the data to Jamie and the board in advance so you can see it. Population. When I presented in May, TSA proposed 90 units of affordable housing for families with a percentage around 25% of permanent supportive housing for formerly homeless individuals. Okay? Formerly homeless individuals to us, this population is families with young children. This is women escaping domestic violence. This could be veterans. This could be seniors. It is not every homeless person is a drug addict suffering from mental health disorders or substance abuse. And I challenge each and every one of you, again, to come to our projects or right here, and I will bring people that were formerly homeless, that have turned their lives around.
15 seconds.
I'm looking at each of you in the eye. I have a 2-year-old son, and I can tell you, honestly, I would move into that building tomorrow if it was done. No question. And I promise you that that building, when it's done, will be the most beautiful thing on the block, hands down. Put that right, please.
How much profit are you making out of this? And why are you getting
Wait a
it
minute.
for free?
Oh, ma'am. Sorry.
Question.
If you guys, so let's do it this way, actually.
We want to know all the truth.
Okay, well then
So
I...
informed us anything.
Okay, first of all, this is taking the meeting out of order, because things have to be done in an orderly way, because that's the only way you can get the answers that you want. So, for anybody that has questions in the audience, what I would ask you to do is please go back and write them down. I don't care if y'all pass around one piece of paper and then pass it back up to the front as I'm going through my questions. Whatever cannot be answered tonight, I will forward the questions to Mr. Coddington, who can respond to me via email, and those will go up on our website. Because if you want actual answers and you want something to take to the bank...
Answer me now, why is he giving the property for free? Why are you handing away $10 million of property for free?
Ma'am.
Since when does the city just hand over property?
Well, I will explain this to you. There were several... Yeah, actually, let's let Mr. Ross explain to you how it is that somebody from Thomas Stafford and Associates could get property for free. Mr. Ross.
I mean, first of all, are all of you interested in that answer right now?
Yes. Yes. Now.
Okay, yeah. It's first, the question is that it's not rare. It happens all the time. Cities, that's a way, right, this affordable housing has to be subsidized in some way. It's either grant money from your sales tax dollars or other different trust funds. You can give grant money or a city can donate land. And the alternative, let's say this land's worth about 10 million maybe for half an acre in West LA. Like I said before, the city can either donate them the land for free with the return, the trade-off is affordable housing for low-income people. And when you house them with supportive services, they don't go to the emergency room, police calls go down, there's less domestic violence. You guys understand that. There are less other budgetary costs. It's, in general, affordable housing is a good financial fiduciary investment for cities. So that's why cities will do things like give grant money or donate land. It's very common. I've built 60 affordable housing projects in 20 cities over the last 15 years, and many of them get free land from cities. And cities can either donate the land or give grant money. So if they don't donate this $10 million worth of property, you as taxpayers are going to have to come up with another $10 million in grant money. The city, they have different bonds and different sources, and their goal is to spend as little money to get the most units. So if they can donate land and spend less money, you get more units. So that is why.
And to add to what Jay said, the structure of the land disposition has not been determined. We have not had negotiations with the city. That is part of the development and disposition agreement that comes later once we've reached a consensus here. There are options. There's donating the land. There's long-term ground leases with the city where it will continue to own the land, right? And TSA would just own the improvements, just the building on the land. And to echo what Jay said, it is a very good financial investment in the community. There is cash flow from these buildings that gets redistributed back to the city, back to the state, local, county agencies that invest money in these projects.
What's your profit?
Wait a minute.
I'll explain that.
Well, no, wait a minute. We're not going to have you hijack when other people want to ask questions. So, you've now asked a question, you received a response from him and
I have one thing to say.
Then please,
Ma'am, would you just keep it
I don't get
quiet?
property sold. I don't want them to get free rent.
and then you should write to Mr. Bonin's office. I don't think he has a representative here this evening, but I'm sure that his deputy will be happy to take an email from you. If you have a question that I can give to this developer, I would encourage somebody in the back to grab a piece of paper and start writing down questions, possibly somewhat legibly so that hopefully I can figure it out. Pass it around the room and we'll get to those at the end. But I cannot ask you to ask questions about the way the city works.
They're getting into rich neighborhoods and taking very valuable property. Why don't they
Then, as I said, ma'am, we had an election.
developments?
We had an election. We had a council member that was elected. He represents us to the city. We are simply an advisory body. And I would encourage you and people who are similarly inclined to write a letter to Mr. Bonnet. If he's the one that can bring the voice to city council, write a letter to his office.
May I answer that question?
No.
No.
So, the next thing I'd like to talk about is what sort of vetting process is done. I think that was another question, and so I'd also like to give you 2 minutes on that question. If you have a question, please write it. He's going to answer this question. We're going to get back to community questions. I'm asking big picture ones. If you have small questions, there's a piece of paper floating around, so please write it down.
Sure, so Jay touched on this earlier. All of our tenants are required to pass a criminal check, a background check, an income certification. We even do a home visit where we visit their home to see the environment that they're living in. And often, if their home is not adequate and we feel it would be a good addition to our building, we remove that tenant. The tenant is removed from the list. So we fill this building with people that have passed criminal checks, background checks, income certifications, and live in a safe, comfortable environment. Okay?
And who checked that process?
I'm sorry?
Who checked that process? That you're doing that different?
It's fair housing laws require us to do each of those things.
Oh, yes. Who does
Throwing
that?
that on the street?
Who does? We do. Sorry. Let me back
So
up.
do you have a separate agency that does
We
that?
are Thomas Safford and Associates is a developer, an owner, and a property manager. We have approximately 5,500 units across the city of LA. We manage everything in-house. Our team, our property management team, assembles a group of people with each new development, and they conduct this, we call it the lease-up process, right? They accept applications, they conduct a lottery, they interview people, background check, credit check, criminal check, and then we manage it in perpetuity. And I know there's been a question about safety as well, and putting these people, these homeless
15
individuals
seconds.
in this building. And my response to that is, we're long-term partners in this neighborhood. Our office is in Brentwood. We're right downstairs.
What's the deal with
We're long-term partners in this neighborhood, and we manage this building in perpetuity. So we have every incentive to fill this building with people that are not problematic. We have a 10-page list of housing ground rules. I brought copies today for people to see. And if people don't follow that, they're evicted. It's very strict.
That's time on that one. I have a couple other questions that have come up. Oh, there are more. Okay, so I'm going to read these out. Some of them might be duplicative. I'm going to read them all, and then we'll go back and revisit them as we need to. But the first question is, if you can forward the RFP documents to us, if they're public. And if they are forwarded to us, we will put them on our website. So that was the entire question.
They are not public. The city has asked us not to release those documents until a development and disposition agreement is reached.
So, for anybody then who's curious about those, if the city has asked them to keep them not public, then I encourage you to write to your council person and ask them to not do that. So, go ahead.
Now, if the council asks for that, that's my question. Can you as a council take action now to request that from
We can
the
ask.
city?
We can ask. But one voice in the night is always quiet. So if it's something that people want, we can ask for it, but you guys asking for it is going to be a lot louder than just us asking for it, is what I'm saying. So whoever wrote me this question, this anonymous question, if you're interested, I will certainly ask them. I assume that they're going to look at the minutes of this meeting as well.
Or I can do a public records act.
You can do that as well. And should that information become available to one of you good folks, you can bring it to us.
Now, I think it's important to clarify, the RFP was submitted in September of 2016, and that was prior to the passage of Measure HHH, which was $1.2 billion for homeless housing. And then in March, voters overwhelmingly approved Measure H, which is service dollars, approximately $350 million annually, to pay for ongoing on-site services for the people in the building. That need.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The RFP asked us to think critically about how to build homeless housing quickly, and to do it using creative entitlement methods and creative ways of financing. that's there. At the time, there was not money available to fund permanent support, fund the building and services needed for permanent supportive housing. When Measure HHH and Measure H were in fact approved, we were asked by the city to throw out that RFP proposal. It was just an exercise of saying, developer, what would you do on this site if you had no public money available and you had to go and finance it yourself? And that was that exercise, and that's been thrown out. And that's why we are also adamant about not showing that, because we're here in front of you, and I'm saying there is not a proposal. We're working on something, and we'd like to show it to you the next time you come back. But we're starting fresh. That's important. Please, if you leave here with nothing else, the question of transparency, we're not hiding anything. This is me here in front of you saying the next time we meet, you will have a plan to review and for us to discuss.
Okay, we're gonna have to move through these answers a little more quickly, otherwise Zella is gonna throw us out of the building and we'll be doing this in the alley. Okay, next question. How do you ensure that 25% of the 90 units, i.e. 23 units, are provided to homeless from the neighborhood and that other homeless don't just move into the neighborhood?
Sure, it's a very good question. I may bring up Joe Bauman from Imagine LA, she spoke earlier. Generally, the city or the county has a system called coordinated entry. Coordinated entry is a database of all the homeless across the county of LA. They fill out a very intense application, and they're assigned two things. One is an acuity score, and that is how badly they need to be housed. The second thing is they select what area of town, what area of the county they'd like to be housed in. And those people are put into a database, into a queue or a waiting list, and when housing becomes available, they pull from that list. Now, certain developers indicate to the county that the project that they're building that has permanent supportive housing may not be appropriate for the most needy population, i.e. your mentally ill or chronic substance abusers, and the county works with the developer to provide people in the building that fit certain demographics, certain requirements of what they are looking for.
Because we're, at least for now, looking at this being a family building, the family solution centers are done by SPA. Does everybody here know what a SPA is?
No.
Okay, it was a service planning area. This is SPA 5. It's basically West LA space. Is that fair to say, everybody? So the families that will be referred into this project, if it is a family project, which we're thinking that would be the most palatable for this community, would come from SPA 5, trying to stay in SPA 5. So that is what the Family Solution Centers, more than the coordinated entry system for all those singles and everything else, the Family Solution Centers are very key on keeping families in the communities that come.
Thank you. Okay, this is a sort of three-part question. Given the sort of nascent nature of the project so far, is this project already at a point where this is the exact location or other locations still feasible? That's the first part. When, during this process, will you determine what the population is? And then third, if you remove a tenant, you referenced evicting somebody earlier, if you remove a tenant, where do they go? Are they now just on the streets in the neighborhood?
First question, location. The city has land all over, right? As Jay mentioned, there are just city land dispositions that happen very frequently. The city, in its first round RFP last year, They targeted 12 sites across Los Angeles for affordable and permanent supported housing. This is one of them. There will be more RFPs that come for new sites for permanent supported housing. So to answer the question directly, yes, this is a site that the city council has chosen for affordable and potentially permanent supported housing. I don't foresee the city backing off that and suddenly changing their plan. There's an incredible need for homeless housing in the city. There's an issue with affordability, and there's a lack of affordable units on the west side. We were given a database as part of our research to really learn the west side. We were given a database from the city of LA. From 2003 to now, there's been 343 affordable projects developed. Affordable housing projects, 100%, where the city of Los Angeles has invested money. And 2 are in Council District 11. 2 of them. And I can give you the address because they belong to us. Delray Square. Delray Square, 124 units of senior housing with 30 units for formerly homeless individuals is in Delray neighborhood on Culver and Inglewood. And we just built another project, someone mentioned it earlier, in Playa Vista. We did the affordable housing in Playa Vista, 83 units of senior housing. Population. And that question is, when will the population be determined? Yeah, it's being determined through this discussion. It really is. I mean, I've told you our preference. Our preference is to build family housing here on that site. Now, some people say, why not senior? And my answer to that is, by building family housing, building 1, 2, 3 bedrooms, we can house more people that need it. More people that are on the street get housing.
And then the next question was, if you remove or evict a tenant, where do they go?
I'm not prepared to answer that today. I can check with our property management group to see what the action is when they're evicted, but I don't have that answer for today. But next time we meet, I will have that.
Thank you. Okay, this is a two question. What control does the community have in the type of low-income persons that are housed? I think you kind of addressed that this is part of the start of that process. Is that fair?
Yes.
To address that. And then the second question is, how the density, 90 units, how high are they going to be?
Density, 90 units, we propose 6 stories. So 1 level of parking at grade, and then 5 levels of residential above. Now, the reason that we're proposing that height is because the Expo Bundy station is less than half a mile away. Some of you may have seen the draft of the Transit Corridor Neighborhood Plan. The city is trying to relieve congestion, trying to get cars off the street. And so they've allowed sites, the targeted sites, within a half mile north or south of those stations as potential for increased density. And so that plan would allow us to go up as high as 12 stories, 160 feet. We're proposing 6 stories.
And at that point, I want to interject, ladies and gentlemen. We are hopefully forming an ad hoc committee about the Expo plan that will hopefully get rolling in the next month or so. So be on the lookout for notices for special meetings like that about that plan that will also be here. So everybody's heard it from me. It will be happening soon, those sorts of meetings. Okay. The next question, does the council weigh in on the approval or disapproval of this project? At some point, the council will take a vote on the approval or disapproval of this project when it's got a little more of a actual project behind it, when the population has been determined from the developer, when the height's done, when it's a little more done. I expect that our planning and land use committee is going to be up and running in the next month or so, and this will sort of shift over to the planning and land use committee. They will vet it more, and then it'll come back to the full, they'll make a recommendation, it'll come back to the full board. So that's the way that process works. Does your opinion carry any weight with Mike Bonin? I think you'd have to ask him that. I don't have an answer for you. Okay, that takes care of those questions. This question, these two questions, I think we've already addressed. I'm gonna try and make them a little more pleasant. You did already say that you have a 2-year-old son and you yourself will live in one of your projects. And where do you live?
I live in Sherwood Oaks, and my home backs right up to an apartment building.
Okay. All right. Next questions. Okay. Some of these, all right. We'll start with the first one. If the land was, what is the current zoning level?
The land is on public facilities.
Okay. And
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that. Public facilities. Thank you.
and so to build this project is going to require a zoning change.
Can I speak to that? I'm Olivia, I'm from 360. We're doing the land use and entitlements for the project. So we're still figuring that out. It's one of those things that is still in flux right now. As we said, the land is zoned public facilities because it is owned by the city, and therefore it was zoned for them to have a purpose that may serve a public benefit. But as the land is being transferred, a new zoning envelope needs to be figured out. So again, that's still very much in flux, as is the total height and the total density. So I understand that everyone is, thinking about the 90 units and 6 stories height, but that again is something that's still being very much worked out. So again, a zone change, as someone mentioned in the question, is an option, but it's not the only option, and it's not absolutely necessary. Again, still being worked out, and that will be something that we will present if that is worked out, or if it's still not worked out, we'll explain everything during the August meeting as well.
Okay. I think the next question is more rhetorical, but I'm going to read it anyways. I don't know if anybody actually answer it. How can we unwind this deal? The third question on this page is, what is the definition of affordable housing? So I know there are certain income limits for what is considered affordable. Was that in the packet that you
It sure is.
brought?
So item 10, and I'll just read it. What is affordable housing, and will there be income limits? Affordable housing can have limited definitions. To take advantage of the federal low-income housing tax credit program, we propose to rent the units to households that earn at or below 60% of the area median income. So that's about $35,000 a year. The tenants that live in the building have to earn $35,000 or less. And on page 10, you've also got some rent ranges as well as the income limits for each additional household member.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry I'm moving through these folks, but we're getting pretty close to time here. What can be done to try to encourage or prioritize current residents of the neighborhood in danger of being forced to leave their homes already in this neighborhood? Do you understand that question? Okay, so I think what the question is there any sort of mechanism, or do you propose a mechanism, to either prioritize people who are already in our neighborhood that are displaced before they get into this county database you talked about, to get them into the project, or to somehow encourage people who are maybe really needing affordable housing that are stretching it right now to get into this project, people who are already living there?
I think we have limited control on the general affordable population, but with the homeless individuals, we can work with the county in order to find people that reside in, as Jill said, SPA 5, Service Planning Area 5. And that's something that we would be actively involved in to ensure that we are making an impact here in this community.
Yes.
When fair housing laws are pretty strict about, you can't discriminate people or target the city council district. What they usually can do is do heavy marketing in the area and encourage your friends, your family who meet these income residents, make sure they know when the application dates, so they can offer workshops to fill out the applications and qualifications, because it is pretty complicated. You need to have tax returns, demonstrate income. So again, because of fair housing laws, they cannot say only West Side people can live here, but you you can probably work with them to market to your friends and family who may need units like this. So.
Okay, this is a statement, not a question. That letters to Councilman Bonin do make a difference. So please write to your city councilman with your concerns. So, PSA. We have a final speaker card. Timothy? Yeah. Do you want to speak, or do you want me to just read your statement?
No, I'm speaking.
Okay. You get 1 minute. That's what everybody else got.
1 minute.
Yeah.
So, Timothy Sweeney, I live in the neighborhood. I was here for 22 years in Sawtelle neighborhood. I used to work for another affordable housing developer, that's Clean Housing located in Venice.
Could you come forward?
I had the opportunity to work with.
Could you come forward and speak?
Sure. I would say I had the opportunity to work with folks from Thomas Safran and Associates a couple of different times. We partnered with them actually having some of our young people in the youth development program work on the 2 projects that actually are located in this district. And I would just say I would really encourage everybody that has concerns to take them up on their offer and go out and visit. I've been to both of those sites. I've been to a couple of others, and they're really well done. They look beautiful. They're really well managed. Thomas Safran himself was involved in some of our projects and really takes a very hands-on approach with it. And it's, I think, doing a great service to this community. We have, almost 60,000 people that are homeless in this city and county. And this is, this is one solution for a small number of those folks and other affordability. So I just encourage you to go check it out.
Okay, we have one more question from the board member. Oh, we've got 2 questions. Okay, can you guys please write down the questions? Because that's what I'm going by. So if you write them down and hand them up, then I will read them. Rosie.
Because each of these have separate properties, is a close community. You have this other, like I said, library or community room. It was strictly in residential units.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Would that bring the density now as far as it's 6 levels and bring it down to 4?
I think that has to be studied. I don't want to tell you it can or can't, but I will tell you every project that we develop does have these central community rooms that Rosie's described. Not all of them are insular and turn their back to the community. Some that we have actually have ground floor community space that neighborhood councils can come and meet at, that neighbors can come and reserve for gatherings and parties. We also have done mixed-use projects that have retail on the ground floor that we activate the street. So,
but I think there might be concern that people are coming.
Rosie? Sorry, I gotta cut that off now. We're getting really close on time. Ron, you've got 15 seconds.
Yeah, one quick question. If people are concerned about the height of the building, is there any reason you couldn't put in subterranean parking? Right.
That's an option. Yeah.
Okay, what is your web address?
www.tsahousing.com. I brought a handful of business cards. I can leave them on the table up here. If anyone, feel free to call me or email me with any questions you have.
I got this other one that I can't read. Will you promptly put some document on your website?
You promptly put your public documents on the website.
These documents here that I've handed out.
No, I haven't seen any, but I'm suggesting you was to get a website.
Yes.
And you have documents that you think are not privileged or confidential. You city, put them on the website with the public access.
Contracts we did for the city, just hand over the deed at the time of
Okay, so there's a request for documents. If the builder is so inclined, they can give us the documents and we can put them on our website and you guys publish. How many developers were IRPs issued to?
There was approximately 55 responses to the RFQPs across all 12 sites. The city chose, I want to say, 5 or 6 of the sites, and 5 or 6 different developers were chosen to develop them. The rest of the developers were put in what's called a qualification list, and so their experience in the track record were evaluated, and they were put on a list for future sites that come available, and those pre-qualified developers have now the right to bid on developing new affordable housing when the city's other sites come available.
Okay, these have got to be quick. We've got very little time. If you can't discriminate, how can you offer housing to families over single people?
If you can't discriminate,
How can there be an offer of housing to families over single people?
well, it's a good question. We have 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. In a typical family project, we have 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and 3 bedrooms. And there are minimum and maximum household sizes for each bedroom height. So in a 1 bedroom, you could put 1 person, or you could put up to 3. In a 2 bedroom, you could put a minimum of 3 up to 5. In a 3 bedroom, you could put 5 up to 7. And so if we only have so many 1 bedrooms available, we're only able to rent those units to families or larger households.
What is the yearly income considered for low-income housing?
That is in the packet.
That's fine, okay. So there are 3 more questions which I'm going to read, but are not appropriate for this person. And I will send them to the councilman's office as coming out of this meeting. But the 3 questions are, 1, are we stuck with this proposal of housing? 2, what other options do we have? The 3rd question is, can we take a vote regarding this property? This person proposes to sell the property and take the $10 million to build affordable housing in East LA and South Central. I will forward those comments to the councilman's office. At this point, we have concluded our meeting, and here's what I propose, because I'm sure that as the days go on, you all have other thoughts, comments, questions that come up. Please email us at our website, email the NC at our website, because that gets copied to more than just me, so I won't be me just forgetting. We will compile a list of the questions and send them over to Thomas Safran or the councilman's office where appropriate. Answers that we receive will then get posted back on our website, and we will endeavor to do a posting probably every week or so, maybe 10 days, of the questions that come in the aggregate. Okay, this one has to do with finding another location. I think we've answered that because we've been told the location is what it is. Yes, sir.
I have an announcement. If anybody concerned with the DWP transformer noise, after the meeting, come and talk to me.
Perfect. So the announcement was, for those of you that didn't hear, if you're concerned about the DWP transformer noise, we have a gentleman up here in the front in a gray shirt. He's willing to talk to you about that. So that's where we're at now. I appreciate everybody coming out.
Thank you.
Yes.
One quick, really a survey. Is anyone interested in taking a tour of our properties?
Okay. There's a sign-up sheet in the back for anybody who wants to take a tour. At this point, I'm going to ask if there's a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Any opposition? We're adjourned.